back in the archives a little bit. We got some footage from like, I think about a month ago, almost to the day. We're going to take a look at it. It was a Monday. It probably would have put us somewhere around half guard or side control, but that doesn't matter. But yeah, let's get started. It's got me and Nick starting things off. And some people trickle in. Cole and David as well. What the Sigma? What are you asking me? So, unfortunately, that move that Nick just did, he's been working on a lot lately. This little back step into cross ashi. So, looking forward to seeing more recent footage of that. Unfortunately, we don't have it from this past week when he said he was hitting them left and right. Oh, we got Pat with us. Pat and Ronnie. David looking for a single leg. Cole with the reversal over there. Such a crappy spot when Nick gets me there. That's definitely become a problem to get out from that. Which I like the strategy of, let's see, he doesn't really. So I have like a butterfly half, which is pretty easy for him to just high leg out of that and then work past the guard. And I don't have a decent enough hip frame to push myself away and create room. Pat going heavy on the head with Ronnie over here. See how long it takes them for one to throw the other. I'm sure it's probably how that ends. All right, Ben and Jordan. Why is everyone mean to you? Don't play victim. We've watched you throw plenty of us around and submit us. All right, Pat was kind of mean there. Front headlock, shove you down. Shove you down again. Kneel on your back. How did I sweep Nick? Oh, okay, so we're just going out the back for the sweep. Nothing too fancy. Andrew and Joe. What's up, James? For those of you just joining, this footage is from about a month ago, so digging back a little ways since we didn't really have a whole lot of rolling going on since a bunch of us were at ADCC. Thank you, Ronnie, for holding it down while we were gone. So Nick again, cross ashi from bottom. Not sure what happened there. Oh, I think maybe we're just talking through something. Okay. You didn't survive, you thrived. Let's see, we got Joe over here looking for a little tripod or double ankle action. Gets the push with the shins behind the knees rather than the feet on the hips. Or the hamstrings on the quads, which is normally the way you see that done. Wow, Andrew with the quick entrance into a standard ashi. Notice how Andrew has the inside position between the legs here. That's really, really crucial for what he wants to do, which is, in this case, a heel hook. You could also go to like straight ankle or whatever, but once he elevates that leg, slides in underneath it, he's really quick to pinch his knees together, kind of point Joe's knee in towards the, away from the camera in this case, And he quickly sets up the heel exposure. Gets a nice heel hook. Nice outside heel hook. Taught wrist locks because why not? Good. Good. Can't wait for everybody to try to wrist lock me. Austin actually, he and I were cranking on each other's wrists yesterday. He almost got me kind of good. I didn't want to tell him. Hopefully he's not watching. Been making contact here on Jordan's hip, trying to step around the guard. Jordan's long legs are preventing that though. Looking for the knee staple. Yeah, there we go. Tucking the knee into the hip. Got to be careful here that he doesn't let that arm get attacked. There was a brief attack there. I think Jordan was possibly thinking Kimura before he sunk in the crossface with it. Now Ben steadily pressures past. All right, Brandon and Mike joining in a little late in the round. What are you doing over there, Ronnie? So Pat made his way to the back. A little chair sit. What's up, Ben? Ronnie with the escape. Pat didn't have quite as much influence over the hips as he probably wanted there, so Ronnie was able to turn away once she got her neck safe. Damn, Brandon's really pressuring forward on this. Trying to get Mike to move a little bit. Yeah, that's pretty factual. Nice little single leg for Brandon here. So kind of snatch single. Gets to the angle he wants. Keeps the leg up the middle. Tight waist grip. Just kind of sits Mike down. Turns him down. Doesn't get re-rolled. Quite right. Good evening. Welcome to the chat. Are you one of our students, Quiet Riot, or are you a casual viewer, jiu-jitsu fan? Or none of the above? I think it's been quite a while since I choked right. Oh, Josh, what's up, man? Yeah, he went on strike. He's part of the Teamsters Union, and you know, I haven't hired any scabs to take his place yet to cross the picket line, but hopefully one day he'll be back here soon. He's been a busy boy, so you guys are stuck with me. Let's see, we're gonna cruise this. Oh, I think it's, let's see, Nick and I are just working. Oh, that's all right. Mike and Brandon are still going over here. So Mike with the sweep. All right, new round starting off. I can't agree to that. Mike fills in all the gaps in my knowledge. Andrew trying to rip my damn head off. It's the most violent chair sit back take at 1 1/4 speed, of course. Nick, nice chase on this takedown. Let's look at this. So Cole goes arm drag, but Nick beats the angle around, chase him down a little bit. Cole's not spinning too fast to get out of it. I think Cole was maybe looking for a chance to roll him there, like maybe with like a Maki Komi or something, but Nick maintains a good body position. How the hell did I get out of Andrew's back attack? I thought he had me. Okay, just some hand fighting. Trying to misalign my hips. There we go. I'm pretty much safe from the back. Now I gotta deal with this. Didn't say that. Didn't say that at all. Won't say that. Won't admit to it. Alright, so I got out of mount. Let's see, just because it was recently mount week. What did I do? Pretty much working from like an elbow escape position here. Having Andrew trapped in like a quarter guard. They're capturing the knee, basically knee elbow. And then now he gets off at his own on his own accord, jumps to side control. Kind of this Kesa Gatame position. Pat settles into Jordan's close guard here. So Andrew progressing towards knee on belly. Not finding luck there, so he goes to north, or starts going to north-south. I'm following him, though, to keep him near side control. That is a good question. Saying I trap him in quarter guard makes it sound like I'm in charge, which I'm definitely not, as he tries to break my leg here. Gets it. Damn, he's feeling himself this day with these outside heel hooks. It's a nice little sit back. So he kind of shelves my leg here. He's in a top half guard. His right leg shelves underneath my left leg, or my top leg, and now he sits back. I would say a pretty good depth on the hip position. So he's, I've got a long way to go to get my knee free from this position. Meanwhile, now as I'm pointed kind of belly down, he's got pretty good access to my heel. If I was more, upright, if my chest was kind of pointing in the same direction as his chest, I could hide my heel a little bit better. But this one, I'm in some trouble. So starts to get it. I think if I had turned instead of being lazy here, I may have been able to deal with this a little bit better. But we roll through. And he just had that grip way too long for me to get out of that. Very nice. What's up, Kolsov? Hey, you're getting worked over here by Nick, dude. I don't know if you want me to point it out or not, but Pat doing a really good job sprawling out of Jordan's attempt at coming up on a single leg, wrestling up from Turtle. And Joe and a Darce over here. David doing a very good job trying to keep his elbow in a bad position for the Darce. So let's see how Joe sets this up. Okay, so this is off of a butterfly sweep, double overhooks. Now this position, he's got a good spot to work for the Darce, but with David's elbow close to his hip, that's going to be really hard to get the connection that you need with like the bicep or the deltoid into the neck. Joe could set up like that kind of S grip behind the neck, Japanese necktie, I know people like to call it, and use that as a path towards control and maybe to the Darce, depending on how David reacts. Otherwise, he's really gonna have to dive through. I want to see his ear touch the back. Yeah, if he's gonna have the reach for that Darce. Instead, he opts to go to like a dorsal Kimura position. Try to work on isolating the arm. Josh, you training? You training or just golfing, dude? Even if I'm losing, that's what. Well, looks like you really wanted to lose tonight. Good. That's what I want to hear. What did I do? Or what did Andrew do? Looks like I'm trying to wrestle up here. Really staying on the leg so Andrew doesn't try to darce me. This arm, what I mean by that, this arm is hugging the thigh rather than hugging around the waist. The higher you come up towards like the middle of the back, the more prone you are to a darce counter here. Ask Danny about that if you want to know more, because he hits them really well. But now controlling that leg, just trying to get myself safe. Looks like I'm really flopping around this day. I know I'm trying to wrestle up here, but I'm just not moving how I normally like to move for whatever reason. I get that. A little cross training. That's good. Working on your ability to like twist. Maybe some hand-eye coordination. Who got that? Who got what? Looks like knee bar maybe? No. Looks like Andrew had a good crank on my other ankle this time. So he takes an Achilles grip there. I'm not playing around on that leg. Nice early tap. What kind of milkshake you thinking about, dude? Nick taking Cole's back. Almost at will. Pat trying to smash these legs together to secure his pass. Since like Sunday or Monday, or has it been like 24 whole hours since you had a milkshake? What's a while? It's all relative. Let's see if Cole can do anything. There we go. So, all right, Cole gets a kind of a pinch headlock, shoulder crunch-ish sweep here. So taking advantage, you guys, you know, I think a common fundamental rule that you learn is if your hand's on the mat, it's in danger. This also kind of applies too in this case. So Nick's trying to pin this leg and move, but Cole's got him wrapped up in this pinch headlock with the head and arm in. Now Cole starts working to a position where the arm's really isolated from the torso. There he switches over to like an Udigatami straight arm kind of threat, although it's not really putting on much pressure on the elbow. It's still an isolated arm. I'd like to see the elbow a little bit more, well, like we need it much more over the shoulder blade in this case. This is an easy spot to slip out of. The higher you are up on the shoulder, the harder it's going to be for him to slip this. So he wraps the head back up, and then now this leg is pushing in this direction, arms pushing in this direction, stretching out the entire right side of Nick's body, and that's what gets his turn here. And he's up onto directly on the mount. Did have one on Saturday. I don't believe that you didn't finish the milkshake. The Chick-fil-A peach milkshakes slap for sure. Do you think they have any special milkshake flavors at the beach you're gonna go to? We got some milkshakes in Vegas actually. Like some people just get hammered and black out in Vegas. We take a break and go to Shake Shack in like the middle of the night. Sorry, what happened here? So Andrew is on top. Looks like he's going for something that's not really a threat. Okay, just a bit of a scramble. He takes top position. That sounds like that's got Peter's name written all over it. So Andrew had my number that round. Messed up both my legs. It was pretty good. throw some Nilla wafers in that, man. Those are like, I feel like those are an underappreciated cookie. Cole keeping up to date on the latest memes. And trading leg kicks with Ben here. Good Sumigashi. Ben now looking for his own. Can he get it? He initiates a scramble, but Cole is able to maintain top position just by virtue of keeping hip height over Ben. That's the battle you got to win in that case. Let's see if he could get another. He's not looking for the elevation, just the escape. Okay. What's Nicholas doing to Ronnie here? Okay, so countering with the Kimura attack. Gets the left hook in. There we go. I would do everything you can there. I mean, you guys are rolling kind of slow, so maybe it's not a big deal. Like, don't just lazily get yourself into half guard in this case. Try to get all the way to side control if you have the Kimura still, which it looks like he has at least a one-arm Kimura. That'll make finishing the Kimura a lot, you know, it gives you one less thing. I'm not going to say a lot easier, but it gives you one less thing to try to overcome if you're really trying to finish the Kimura. Ben has made his way past the guard. Anything fancy there? Did you just like bomb rush him? Okay. It's pretty simple. Forward pressure, steps the knee over. Cole's not really holding on to that leg with his. Meanwhile, David trying to work a smash pass and makes his way to mount on me, so that sucks. Yeah, he followed that for a while. So really starts with tying up the legs with his arms. So I almost get a sweep. He recovers his legs. It starts crawling forward, working his way slowly up the body. Up now he's up past the hips. Maintaining his position. As I'm trying to elevate him, he's just kind of sneaking higher and higher past my guard. Then he makes one last quick step over that top knee. I like how he's taking his time here. He's not raising his hips. He finds his opportunity and takes it. If he raises his hips up, he runs the risk of me getting my knee back in further. And with that knee, I could start to create space and ruin that that pass into mount, which is awesome. I think he cramped there, right? Yeah, I could feel him. I remember this. I started kind of slowing down and wincing a bit. I think he got a cramp in his leg. Get that over a pin to your chest if you want to rip the Kimura. Oh, were you talking about with these two? Let's see, where do you get with that Kimura? Yeah, right there. I see what you mean. So moving up to this position, yeah, this connection of the elbow to the chest definitely is really important. Another thing to think about here is you got to look at your opponent's grip too. So right now Ronnie's dealing with this, or she's putting up this S grip, maybe a gable grip. This is a really useful time to let up on the tension of the Kimura. Still hold it, like you're not going to let the grip go, but you want to be able to sneak this knee onto the bicep to have something to pin that bottom arm to the mat as you pull up on the grip. There are other, you know, grip break variations you can use too, but that pinning knee can be very, very helpful. And then for that, if you're going to sit to an armbar, totally viable option. Try to focus on getting this knee over the body. Ronnie's going to make it difficult here, right? She's expecting it right now. Getting it over the body, and even better, in my opinion, through the arms to where it's not draped over her torso. It's coming under the arms and then the heel and the neck. That sets up a 3/4 armbar, which I think is a pretty good position for shutting down things like, you know, rolling escapes, hitchhikers, stuff like that, if you transition to the armbar. I am lonely without Mike. It's just so quiet. You guys should do some text-to-speech. Make it seem like I have a friend here on the stream with me. Josh hasn't hit us with any copy pastas in forever, and it is mogging season. Just about. Checking back in with Ben. Just wrecking Cole right now. Absolutely destroying, owning him. Cole's about 60 pounds heavier than Ben, too. Maybe 70. All right, Ben gets the arm isolated over the head. But Cole is trying... Well, he was briefly trying to get Ben off balance, giving Ben a reason to post his hand so that he couldn't use it to, you know, make any effective grips. And advance his submission. What's up with David here? So he comes back in, gets that back position. I do have TTS on the channel. I mean, since I don't do it myself, I couldn't walk you through how to do it. But please, feel free. And if it messes up or if it doesn't go all the way, I'll make it better. Where Hot Tub was he's the only one who's ever used and abused it. David gets me with a Katagatame from the side here. This is like almost like a rear Katagatame, really. Or, you know, that Rotolo teen that made the rounds a while ago that everybody loved. TTS, dude. Text to speech, God. What's going on over there on the far side of the room? Pat looking for... he was almost on some sort of knee bar there briefly, but scrambled out. Been showcasing his annoyingly good wide base. Makes it damn near impossible to take him over all the time. Just as I say that, Cole takes him over and maintains it. Nice. Cole's in kind of not a bad position. Like, he's not in any trouble here, but he's got his arm next to his head, so chance of a Katagatame, but is able to get Ben off balance enough with this bridging escape. From there, he gets his hips out. And like I said earlier, a lot of these scrambles are determined by the hip height battle, right? Who can win that position. Here, since Cole gets his hips out, starts raising his hips up higher than Bin's, he's able to take him over in this case. That was really nice. And then Bin almost gets it back, but Cole's able to settle in. So yeah, good bridging escape, and then just winning the scramble. Pretty basic. And this weekend, I swear I will add the new Bloody Luke and Bloody Mike emotes as well. Or not Bloody Mike, Bloody Caleb and Bloody Luke emotes that I've had sitting in sitting on my to-do list for a while now. I know. Such a low priority thing, but now we'll have at least 2 more faces to add to the bunch. I could animate them like Mike's too if you want me to. Or actually no, I think I only have 1 of those. 1 or 2 of those. Since Caleb refuses to subscribe, I will maybe I'll make his face the still one. I think this may have been Pat's last training session with me, which is kind of sad. Here he smashes past my guard. Big high step over from top half guard. Nice heavy shoulder pressure to get me turning away, making it really difficult for me to get my bottom knee back in. What's Ben doing over there, abusing Brandon? So here, another bottom side Kimura attack. Ben gets the arm out, pops Brandon over, and is now looking for either a leg scissor on the head or possibly looking for the side triangle, but instead now coming up to a turtled up kind of front headlock position. Cole with the heavy crossface on Jordan, just as Jordan was starting to work his escape. As always, if you guys are seeing stuff that I'm missing, please alert me to it. Ben is really putting some pressure on Brandon over there. And Nick, meanwhile, really maintaining his guard pass over Joe. Kind of switching between side control and north-south, which is a good idea against guys who are really, really proficient at getting their knees back in. Like right here, Joe's doing some good moves, trying to get Nick off balance, giving him a little bump there, and then trying to sneak that bottom knee in. As that starts to happen, I think we've seen Nick rotating up around the head, where it's much more difficult to get the knee into the guard. There, finally, Joe makes a little bit of progress. Quick move. Sets up here with a little reverse shrimp. Pulls that knee in. And now he's got something to work with. And back to the drawing board for Nick. David running interference. What a saint. Keeping us safe. Keeping me from getting stomped by Jordan. While I'm getting crushed by Pat. Ooh. Oh, come on, David. Jordan had a good attack there, leading into the legs. Let's look at this again. So with the leg up on the shoulder, Cole's probably thinking, I can either do a heavy pass here. Not in much trouble for the triangle because his elbow's out here unless Jordan's able to rip it back in. There you see him trying to pull it. Sets up the triangle threat, but then switches. He's got a lat armbar now, or he did. Right there. Yeah, this is nice. So gets the arm extended, pulls his left elbow in front of the wrist, tucks his hand into the armpit, and now he's got a chance to really hyperextend Cole's arm. Cole dives over, maybe eats the mat a little bit. Gets himself free, but now Jordan opts for 50-50 on the legs. He's got a triangle set up himself to keep his own leg safe. But Cole's tucking that heel back. It's going to be really hard to dig out of there now. Jordan into outside Ashi with no control over the leg. That is back exposure city. Right, so Cole tucks away his leg. If Jordan was able to lock up an Achilles grip a little bit earlier, he'd have something to play with. But now Cole's pretty safe. Just going to start cutting his angle. Jordan's belly down. Not in a great spot. Cole looking for his recent new favorite position with this belly down rear naked strangle attempt. He's having to opt for a standard chair sit back take now if he can get it. Nick scooping an ankle over there, trying to get past Joe's guard. Just about gets there. Let's see if he maybe runs to north-south. Pretty much is in north-south now. Maybe halfway there. Yeah, this is good way to maintain this position. He's probably learned lessons in the last 5 minutes with Joe's guard that he's trying to put to work now. How did Jordan get on top? Cole's just kind of lazily conceding that position, in my humble opinion. Settles in with double butterflies and double overhooks, but now he's flat on his back. It's going to be hard to move from there. Looks like I managed to survive this round with Pat just getting smashed the entire time. Fun stuff. So I voluntarily take my knee out from the knee shield position there. Perhaps in an effort to get to some sort of deep half guard. I'm really liking that position. I guess it's okay. I've got my leg on the outside. Now I'm pretty much behind Brandon. Jordan controlling David's posture. It's David looking for bicep ties here before he starts doing any work. But Jordan, meanwhile, trying to get to an angle. He's got that overhook on the left side, on his left side. Good setup for a possible side scissor position. Maybe playing around with omoplatas if he wants to. Just cruising around to the back. Pat utilizing the lockdown to get some of this pressure from Ben off. Never a bad idea. I know he and I and Mike have talked a lot about that over the last year with building his game from half guard, not just using that as a stalling position, which I think he made a lot of progress on. But sometimes you just got to have You just need something to relieve that forward pressure, and the lockdown typically excels at that as long as your opponent doesn't shut it down. And Joe over there working some good guard passing on Mike. Mike turtles up. So Joe had been really focusing on this high step passing, which I'm very happy to see. Looking over here, you see Joe take a pretty narrow base here. That's correct. It seems weird having that narrow base. In almost every stance that you take from a standing position, you're normally going to have, you know, a staggered stance, kind of wide set. If you're in a square stance, you know, you're crouched a bit, your legs are kind of wide-ish, you know, maybe at least shoulder width. Here they're pretty narrow, and it doesn't really feel natural. But you get comfortable in the pocket here, and you start doing things like pinning the shoulder. You have your other hand on the hip. You have a elbow and knee connection, and all these things kind of help you balance if you need to. This close leg position also makes it difficult for Mike to pummel into the inside position with his arm and start setting up, you know, or start working to things like X guard, where he can have your leg at his shoulder and extend your legs out, really widen up your base and get a sweep, as well as other things. There are a few different preferred grips depending on the style. I think Mike's probably looking for an Achilles grip, so he's not really looking to get inside with that. But either way, he doesn't have a decent enough grip, and now Joe can start to high step out past his legs. There you see him trying again. Mike's really trying to track. And once he gets out, good control over that ankle. Now settling in, Mike is left to turtle up to try to deny Joe the pass. But now Joe's setting on a Darce threat. Mike back elbowing pretty hard to keep that neck open. And me pulling some dumb shit with Brandon, which is my favorite kind of stuff to do. So he reaches back. Oh, poor guy. He reaches back in an effort to break my ankles open with his hand. He's really turning his body here, and that allows me to just hook in and kind of get his arm trapped behind his body with just my leg. It's hard to come out of that, so I just use it to sweep him. It's a really good example of why, when you're going to do these standing guard breaks, don't do it halfway. Like, in this case, I want to see Brandon standing up on both feet, not kneeling on one leg. I don't want to see him hinged at the hips. I want to see him standing upright. And then he could start to disrupt my ankles. If he's down low like this, this also opens up opportunities for me to hit triangles, right? I could, you know, if I was more confident about it, I could take this leg up over the shoulder and start setting up triangles here. It was just like, oh, let's do this. This will be fun. But yeah, that bad posture in that position is what left him vulnerable. I was trying to curl his head underneath him there, but he would go. Thanks. It's fun. You don't get a chance to use that like leg bar on the arm. I've seen some guys do that in like gi and stuff. No gi, I don't think it's too frequent, so it's fun to throw up when you can. Now onward to the back. He's giving me a good hand fight, but I think I get the better of this one. Switching to this high ball ride. He's saying, no, you don't have it. And then I have it. I mean, honestly, I'm not going to say that's anything that I ever practiced. If you're still talking about the sweep, it's just, that was much more of an opportunistic thing. And once I got the arm caught, I could, you know, far enough behind his back, he doesn't have the mobility to like pummel over it. So I was like, all right, I'll just take you backwards with it. it looked cooler. It looked cool, but I couldn't walk you through it. It was just there. And again, it really it's kind of set up from your opponent making a poor decision in breaking that guard. I would challenge you to go hit it on a bunch of white belts who don't fully commit to standing guard breaks. I feel like I'm picking on Brandon now. What are we doing here? So he's hiding his leg, starting to initiate a roll, and I switch from a leg attack up to a Kimura. So there I go into an Arimiashi, sit him down, and he's kind of just being lazy. He feels confident in hiding his heel. I mean, I'm looking for it. It's pointing back behind me, so I don't have easy access to it yet. So I say, you know what? Let me go for something you're not even thinking. And you can see me start to wrap up this arm. And from the Arimiashi, it's very easy for me to roll up the body. My legs aren't really like committed in a position like outside Ashi. So I can roll up to that. He tries to stop it. And then from there, we're on the kind of a T Kimura position and doing all the fun stuff that you can think of from there. That was a bicep slicer, which only worked on Brandon because he's got huge biceps. Because every day is arm day for Brandon. I love rolling with Brandon. Are you in the chat? Are you lurking, Brandon? I don't see him listed. All right, Nick bringing the pain. We got Pat and Mike over here. Joe and Ben. Oh, thank God. Dude, Brandon is the happiest, smiliest, like friendliest student I think we have, who also like is suddenly getting really good at single legs and wants to just like take everybody down, and it makes me so happy. It's very contagious positivity from Brandon. And one day he won't take my shit anymore, and he'll just suddenly turn up and be like, he'll wreck me. But I'm gonna make that day stay a long way off as much as I possibly can. Joe crawling his way up to a chair sit back take. Oh, good turn from Ben though to hide his back. And even gets out of mount while doing that. So as he hits his turn, what happens there? Joe just gets off balance, or what's going on with this leg configuration? Oh, I think Joe's actually looking for, he's not looking for the back. He's looking for a mounted triangle. That's what it is. So Joe's stepping this left leg over, and Ben hide or like turns out of it as he does it. That's why he loses top position. Okay, I see. Me taking Nick's back. I probably lose that, but let's see how this happens. So, oh, okay. Sean. Yeah, Sean is one of our latest awesome active chatters and non-students, man. Show some respect. Sorry, I keep playing this for this arm drag example. So this whole back take just set up from an arm drag. Seated arm drags are, I think I like seated arm drags better than standing arm drags, just because you hit an arm drag from standing. When it works, it's awesome. I love it. When it doesn't, you either get re-dragged and you guys go into the spin cycle and just kind of tornado around until you disengage. Or in the worst case, yeah, you get re-dragged and you get your back taken. But when you're seated like this against a kneeling opponent, it lurches them forward and exposes their back so well that you can reach up and take a high grip over the back and work from there. You can't enter the spin cycle, and I hope you guys know what I'm talking about when I say that, when you're in the seated and kneeling position. So that's why I think they're even more effective. They're still great standing. I highly recommend doing them from everywhere, but if you're sitting in front of your opponent, it should be like one of the first or second things you're trying to do from there. So you can see I take that real deep grip over the back all the way to the lat, and then now I start climbing the body, pressuring down with this leg, trying to elevate my hips. He lifts his hips up, which is kind of a mistake, right? That gives me a lot of room to then get my hooks in. He's, 4-pointing up like that is just letting me ride the back. I'll be able to climb over. Most people will be able to climb over. So raising the hips doesn't do anything to prevent it. It only exposes you to further positional dominance. And I do mean dominance. Look at him. Look at him. He can't even do anything right now. Going for the leg trap. I taught this in class the other day. This is one of the positions I went over. You could trap the arm. You could bring it over the shoulder and trap more of their head and arm and go to a seated position, or you can go all the way over their head and work towards an arm bar. Let's see if I can actually do something with this. I have a feeling I don't, but very not demure. Just as I read Cole's brilliant comment, I can't really see. I assume I get under the neck. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And not just any triangle. I mean, you get to the rear triangle from there, and that's my personal favorite of like the 5 primary kinds of triangles. Like the rear triangle is so great. It's a tighter strangle than anything I can do with my arms. And it also leaves this arm that's trapped in there open to at least 4 different attacks, right? Your Kimura, your Americana, your armbar, and your wrist lock. And that's assuming that strangle with your legs that you're trying to do isn't going to work. So yeah, that arm trap is such a valuable position. And meanwhile, Nick goes on the attack with a side triangle and a Kimura dilemma here. I feel like I may have gotten out of this. I don't remember because he's hit me with this before. I just want to see what Joe and Ben did here. So Joe again, similar position that we saw earlier, working from mount. Ben turns and gives up the back. Ben, you could do this without giving up your back. You just got to be really mindful of your top arm. Right there. Now that your elbow's poking out, Joe can take your back. You can turn up to your side without letting your elbow get all the way across. Like it can't go any further past Joe's belly button, right? Can't go past the center line. If it does, your back will get taken. If it doesn't, Joe can't really turn the corner. So you got to kind of learn to walk this line between like defending the Americana, not giving up the gift wrap, and not giving up your back as you're turning to work like an elbow escape or something. So here Joe senses the opportunity, gathers up that wrist. He's in a good position to take the back from here. Walks really high up to the shoulder line. That's good. That sets him up for an easier opportunity on the leg triangle. So he's over the stomach, not over the hips. Oh, gets over the chin here, it looks like. Gets the squeeze. Very nice, Joe. That was sick. I'll put you in timeout, Cole. Do I actually get out of this? No, he gets the armbar. Okay. Joe wants that single, doesn't get it. Yeah, man. I mean, like, dude, wrestling up against Ben is going to be tough. The only way you're going to make it easier on yourself is by cutting the angle around. I understand kind of digging in and driving through, but I mean, Ben starts winning that sprawl. You got to cut the angle. Did you go home? No, you're in the bathroom making poop. All right, end of the round. That was a good round. What, dude? So we got, I think, 2.5 rounds left, something like that. Me and Ben working that tripod variation that I'm falling out of love with. And here's why. I talked about this a few weeks ago. Did I put him down yet? So when I get my opponent to fall with this, the reason I'm starting to really not like this position is I don't have much to come up on. Like, I'm still very extended. And I mean, Ben falls here in a way that it's really, he's ready to get back up, whereas my legs are out in front of me, my hand is underneath my butt, I'm like fully extended. I don't think I can get back up in a decent manner. The best thing I think I could work to do, or the best thing I think I could work towards, is getting to a double inside leg position. So from here, get this leg, pummel it inside, and as my opponent comes up, try to work towards a leg lock. It's not going to work with my grip like that, but that might be a better finish to that sweep. I always yell at you guys that the sweep doesn't end when your opponent hits the mat. It ends when you get up and take top position. Too much squeezing in BJJ. All those body triangles, man. Yeah, there are better variations, or I'll say this, there are different variations. I'm not totally giving up on that. I think some variations of that tripod sweep lend themselves to coming up better. Just while we're talking about it, I think the more common variation you see is this hand grabs the ankle rather than how I'm doing it. So you'd be grabbing it outside the leg. You would have still the same leg configuration. This leg's going to trip behind his leg. This leg pushes on the hip. But as I do that, I can retract my legs. I'm holding the heel, and I could start to sit up. I could keep the leg elevated, and that keeps him from being able to sit up, and I could beat him. But the way I'm doing it in this case, I can't do that because I'm kind of in my own way, right? As I put him down, I either have to like take my legs completely outside his body, like towards the camera, or I have to pummel my legs inside and maybe go to like an Arimiyashi position or something. That's got to be the answer for that variation, because sitting up with that and using it to sweep rather than to like initiate an attack, it's just not a good configuration. I think you yelling at... Oh, you know what I mean when I say yell. My yelling is more of a badgering, nagging, passive-aggressive way of reminding you guys of something I've told you 1,000 times that you're still not doing. fun question to ask somebody. How long you trained? You any good? Who is Andrew training? Oh, okay, with Mike. Brandon really trying to control the ankles here. Smash Joe's guard in. What's up, Pim? Yeah, right? I think any self-respecting jiu-jitsu guy would be like, nah, I'm no good. I would still tell people I'm crappy. Unlike Joseph here. This is nice. I really like this triangle setup. This is such a fun, sneaky setup that you can play from top half guard. So the trick to this is you gotta elevate your hips and sneakily get this leg out without them knowing what's coming. But you see Joe will leave this leg right in place, right under the arm, elevates his hips, pulls that leg out, and is gonna do a full turn in this direction. And now gathers up the neck and sets into the triangle. It's a really fun entrance. And now Brandon's not in a terrible spot to try to work and escape. I think that's why he stays seated here. You've got to be really careful. We've talked about this on stream before, like the way you work this seated triangle escape, by which leg you put over first. The arm that's trapped, in this case Brandon's right arm, that leg that corresponds to that arm, so his right arm in this, or I'm sorry, his right leg in this case, should be the second leg to come over. He's trying to cross his legs over the chest, so Brandon in this case should take his left leg over first, then his right leg, and extend away. If he takes his right leg over first, he's kind of giving Joe a fulcrum to break the arm over, so you got to be really careful. But it doesn't matter because Joe just goes for the triangle, it looks like. Cole is a purple belt. That's why he's the perp daddy. Dude, the matches were great, man. There were, like, you know, we didn't split the day. We just did ADCC. We were around a lot of people who did ADCC, and then on Saturday went over to CJI, which was probably pretty awesome. But there were moments in that arena, like the big upset with Michael Pixley over Nicholas Marigali. Adele, I keep blanking on her name, but the young lady who took 55 kilogram division and the absolute women's division, like when she won double gold, like that was ridiculous. I think her name's like Fiorino or something like that. Dante Leon getting his medal. PJ Barch getting third when really he in my opinion should have been fighting for the gold medal. Yeah, there were and Lovato. Every time Rafael Lovato won, that was like electric, man. Everybody was so stoked for him. I mean, like, Lovato retired at the end of last ADCC. He said he was done training for ADCC. It was going to be his last one. And then, like, he shows up to the next one and gets second place. It's just, like, the old guys absolutely, like, put on a show. I mean, even Cyborg, you know, he had a great event. Lovato. Magalhães didn't. But I think there was another one who I'm spacing on now who did really, really well. But yeah. What are y'all saying? Oh, dude, yeah, I was so happy for Dante. He's such a good athlete. I really like him. Are you talking, was Lovato ill? If that's who you're talking about, I know he dealt with like a serious heart condition. That's why he left MMA, but I think it was, you know, due to the lack of strikes. I think he was kind of safe after some recovery to start training more seriously in jiu-jitsu, which is what he does now. Um, everywhere we went on Friday and Saturday, um, when CJI was live, like all of us, there were 8 of us there. We all had our phones out watching CJI. There were a few matches I want to go back and watch. Like, I need to watch Cade and Andrew Tackett in its entirety. I missed that, like the first half of that match. But yeah, CJI was really cool. The format was very interesting. He tore his pec, did he? I don't know. He probably just doesn't talk about it as much as you do, which is why I didn't know. Yeah, the format though was really cool. I'm interested to see if maybe like Fight Pass approaches CJI, especially since like they had their falling out with ADCC a while back. Yeah, it's, you know, there's a chance we could start seeing that 3 5-minute round jiu-jitsu format a bit more. And then the Craig and Gabby super fight was as fun as I thought it would be. Maybe not everybody's cup of tea. I looked at it more as entertainment than than anything we were gonna learn. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. And I think the biggest thing I was stoked on from this whole weekend was the fact that Renato Laranja is like back being hilarious again. That, because I feel like he hasn't really done much new stuff, and like Renato is, if you just got into the sport in like the last 1 or 2 years, there's a chance you don't know who he is and like his whole character, and he's just one of the best things that ever happened to the sport. So I'm gushing over the events of the weekend and not over what you guys are doing. Joe putting the punishment on Brandon, taking the same sort of approach as he did earlier, but this time instead of ending with the back take or ending with the mounted triangle, 2 things we saw him do from this position, he goes for the armbar instead. Goes for the full armbar and then weaves his leg through, I think. Does he weave his leg through for the 3/4? Yep, switches to a 3/4 armbar, just about. Oh no, okay. X's up his legs to get the extension on the arms. But Brandon slips out. Well timed. Dude, yeah, he was putting up stuff before like the character came out. He was like the doing like the karate stuff where he would like, you know, pretend to beat up Eddie Bravo and all that, and then he just kind of fell into the character more and more. It was, I remember guys thinking that it was like real, like, dude, did you see this guy choke out Eddie Bravo? And I'm like, just stay off the internet if you think that was real. All right, me and Mike get a roll. This is perfect. He's not here, so I can talk smack about him. I'm pretty sure my knee was garbage that day, so this is a big reason why I'm not standing in any of these matches, and Mike probably just works me. He left because his pec was bothering him. He just had surgery like a year and a half ago, so he's still recovering. Just had surgery. Like Lovato, if you didn't know. Oh, Joe wants a dance partner over there. I don't know if anybody takes him up on it. Trying to get Mike off balance before he could sit into cross Ashi on me. He's just about there. I think my control over that left leg of his is the only thing keeping me safe right now. As soon as that leg gets out, I'm in some trouble. You can see him start to try to get it out there. But as he goes for the back step, I'm tracking, scoop the leg, and try to come up. Yeah, I think this was a guard passing around that he and I were doing. Is that why you leave? You just like completely sneak out. And it's because you're hungry all the time? There, Mike gets past me with just some control over that leg so I can't pummel it back in, and then closing the distance chest to chest. Easy run around from there. What did David do over there with Andrew? Or what did Andrew do? Looking right here. Oh, it looks like Andrew was putting on smother pressure and ended up getting a sweep from that. Andrew was a little savage that day. Just whooping up on everybody. And as soon as you get to work, you hit the vending machine for your morning Twix. Do you really get into work at 6:30? See, I don't even get up for like another hour and a half or two, depending on the day. So Mike prioritizing getting a leg inside. And now working to flank me. Speaking of stuff from this weekend, I think everybody should probably pay some attention to Levi Jones-Leary's guard retention techniques, if that seems to be a hole in your game, because damn if nobody could get past that guy's guard. So that was a move I recalled actually from watching the stream, or from doing the stream, ripping a page out of Luke's book from this double underpass as Mike goes to set it up on me. Normally I just like to try to weigh very heavy on the arms and try to bring my hips down, or I'm sorry, bring my legs down over the elbows, preventing them from getting up on my opponent's shoulders. Luke takes it a step further. As he's safe from there, he digs on the arm just like this, tries to go down closer to the elbow and rips the arm through, leaving one arm in and one arm out and setting up for a triangle opportunity. So here I get the arm through, try to set up for a trap triangle, but Mike's kind of forcing his way forward, but that still gives me the shoulder crunch sweep to work with. So you can either try to shut down the sweep or take it a step further, try to turn it into an attack. I didn't think you got into work that early. Put in a full 12-hour day, 8:45 to 4:50. Are you familiar with the rabbit hole? No, I am not. Do you care to point me to somebody I should look up on that? I've never heard of that before. Yeah, I agree. Levi got robbed of $1 million. Say what you will about his guard playing and all that. A lot of people don't like it. And I get it, but it's a jiu-jitsu competition. Okay. I'm going to write that down. Keenan Corneliao. Is it gi primarily, or is it no gi stuff? Because I know he's obviously made his mark in the gi, but I know he did a lot of no-gi stuff there for a little bit. You're primarily okay, cool. Yeah, I'll check it out. Thanks for the tip. I need to add more stuff in for my I feel like guard retention, like, that's something that isn't practiced enough. You know, it's like you kind of work your guard and that's it. But if you treat it as its own concept, like, you can really, really make amazing strides on it. I'm kind of glad that he got out of competing a bit. Like, not because I don't like him, but I think that probably is responsible, and I could totally be wrong, but I think it's probably responsible for exactly what you're talking about, like the stuff coming out of Legion, and like he could continue to like build his own brand and style and like teach his students at Legion that, and they could propagate it out. But like if he was just training hard all the time for IBJJF and ADCC, like may not have the bandwidth to experiment and build on his techniques or something. He had a podcast with Craig Jones, maybe it was before all the CGI stuff. It was maybe like 6 months ago, and he talked a lot about that, like what he learned at Team Lloyd Irving, which, you know, that if you have been in the game long enough, you know everything you need to know about Lloyd Irving. But you know, the other good stuff he could take away from his time there was a lot of like the business side of things. So Andrew playing a heavy game here, trying to smash Joe's legs together, but kind of splitting the energy here between that grip on the upper body and not really controlling Joe's hips enough. So Joe's able to retain his guard. Looks like he's trying to sit into cross Ashi now. He doesn't quite get the right leg in. Yeah, Andrew, that was really all it was. You're kind of sliding over your shin here, but that's trapping your foot. You got to get that foot inside the leg, the right foot. If you're, yeah, I mean, like you could try to spin for knee bar here. At this point, like Joe knows what's coming or what you're trying to do. Might have to take a little bit speedier of an approach into that leg entrance. You know, I'm not always an advocate for fast approaches, but some things you gotta just hit the gas a little bit. Still kind of surprises me that guy even has like a presence in the sport. Not Keenan, Lloyd Irving. All right, so Andrew lightly controlling posture here. Joe's got to pummel inside, start working to some bicep ties. There's a good chance. I would not be surprised. We're getting on the end of the night here. You know, we get tired, a little delirious. You got to do what you got to do to get out of these positions. Stranger things have happened. Joe's kind of biding his time here. Starting to see the bicep ties come into play. Hops into the standing position, but doesn't feel comfortable about it. He's lucky I didn't see this. I'd be yelling at him to stand, making him work. I can tell he's tired. He's been probably training really hard this whole time. There we go, stands, but Andrew's putting on some I think Andrew's pulling him down with his legs, which is probably what's going on here, because he doesn't have control over the posture, but Joe knows to stand up from here. I think Andrew's really doing a good job with the knee pull. And then now this threat isn't terrible. I mean, like Andrew could probably put some pressure on, but he just doesn't have the leg under control, just because he's working from, you know, his legs being inside without having any real isolation over that leg. But time runs out. Joe says, thank God. Can call it a night. Keep myself safe. Can't really defend yourself with arm. Oh, I'm so far behind. You ever wonder if BJJ is actually cool, or does it seem so cool because we do it? I think jiu-jitsu is a stupid sport and a dumb hobby, and I'm just addicted to it to the point where my body is failing me. It's a lot like, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, any opioid addiction, right? I've been doing it long enough. Now everything hurts. I'm addicted and I can't stop. So yeah, and drugs make you look cool, right? So I guess that makes jiu-jitsu cool. I should probably cut all that out before I post this on YouTube. I don't mean any of it. I don't know. What's the consensus? What do you guys think? Is BJJ actually cool? Or are we just, do we just love it because we can't quit? Anyway, deep questions being asked. Thanks so much for the chat. Active as always. That's how I love it. Sooner or later, we'll get Mike back. Guy on the right will join us again. What else? I don't know. Follow us here. If you guys are lurking, I was talking. Yeah. Yeah. What's up, Joe? Thanks for joining. Some people that don't think it's cool are the ones who... I would agree with that. Everybody who sees it and like takes jabs at it, they're just too scared to try it. I hope you did, man. I hope you got really good, and I hope you get really bad when you're out after your nose surgery, so I can keep beating you up. I don't mean that either. I should be more truthful in this podcast, so you guys don't hold my words against me. In any case, if you guys are lurking, if you like what you're seeing, hit that follow button. We always appreciate that support. Always love hearing the alert come in. My favorite alert is when I hear Bernardo Faria saying huge honor for me. It means we got a new subscriber, which always makes me happy too. So if you guys like what you're seeing, subscribe as well. Use your Twitch Prime or sign up through Twitch, whatever you want to do. We always appreciate that support. Bye, Cole. Leave. And then subscribe over YouTube as well. That costs you nothing, and it's always nice to see that subscriber count going up. So we'll post this video up there for you guys to review. We are back to back mount this week. I think we got one more week of it next week, so get your practice. I think that's about it. I don't know of any upcoming competitions that any of y'all have expressed any interest in, but go keep looking, and we'll get you guys prepped for them. I should probably jump on Smooth Comp and see what's out there around us, and we'll get you guys ready if you want to start competing. I think that's it. In the meantime, go trim your nails and do your laundry, and don't be stinky, and I look forward to seeing you guys back on the mats. Take it easy, guys.